The abundance of blessings and money flow into my life. Prosperity comes to stay, and with gratitude I receive the gifts of the universe. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract abundance effortlessly while others constantly struggle for financial survival? Why there are individuals who, regardless of external circumstances, always find ways to prosper, while others remain trapped in endless cycles of scarcity? The answer isn't in external circumstances, it isn't in luck, it isn't in family connections or formal education. The answer lies in something much deeper and more powerful: your fundamental identity. In the next 80 minutes, you're going to discover the most guarded secret of conscious manifestation. You're not someone who seeks abundance, you are abundance expressing itself consciously. Today, you're going to experience a transformation that goes beyond manifestation techniques or positive affirmations. You're going to awaken to the most fundamental truth about your nature, that you are an infinitely abundant being who has temporarily forgotten your true identity. You're going to learn to live from the most powerful declaration that exists: I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am a magnet to attract money. I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we continue, I want to invite you to something extraordinary. If this message is resonating with you, if you feel there's something deeper here than typical manifestation techniques, then you belong to a very special community. By subscribing to this channel and activating notifications, you're not just accessing transformative content, you're entering a collective frequency of prosperity. Think about it. When you surround yourself with people who vibrate in the same energy of abundance, when you become part of a community that recognizes its prosperous nature, your own transformation accelerates exponentially. The subscribers of this channel aren't just passive viewers, they're active co-creators of a collective abundance reality. Each person who subscribes elevates the vibration of the entire community. Each activated notification creates a network of energetic support. Each like and comment strengthens the morphogenetic field of prosperity we're building together. It's not just content, it's a revolution of financial consciousness. So if you're ready to be part of this transformation, if you want to surround yourself with people who, like you, are awakening to their abundant nature, subscribe now and activate notifications. Because when you vibrate in the frequency of abundance alongside thousands of people doing the same, financial miracles become your new normal. Now that you're part of this abundance community, I want you to understand something that will forever change your relationship with prosperity. When you declare, I am abundance, you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're not using positive thinking to mask a reality of scarcity. You're remembering an essential truth about your divine nature that you've temporarily forgotten due to social and family conditioning. Florence Scovel Shinn, the most revolutionary spiritual teacher of the 20th century, taught that man is the image and likeness of God. Therefore, he is one with infinite abundance. When you recognize that you are abundance, you're not creating something new. You're awakening to what you've always been. You're remembering your divine inheritance. You're reclaiming your original identity. The difference between this understanding and everything you've heard before about manifestation is radical. Most teachings tell you how to get abundance from outside. This teaching reveals how to recognize the abundance you already are from within. Most methods teach you to attract prosperity. This wisdom teaches you to express the prosperity that is your essential nature. I decree a wonderful month full of abundance and blessings, focused on my dreams, on the plans the universe has for my life, and on all the beautiful things I'm about to receive. It is done. It is decreed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me explain why this distinction is absolutely crucial for your transformation. When you affirm, I want abundance, or I need prosperity, you're operating from the premise that you don't have what you desire. You're acknowledging lack as your starting point. You're sending the universe the vibration of, I don't have, And the universe, which responds to your vibration, not your words, gives you more experiences of not having. When you declare, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity," you're operating from a completely different premise. You're recognizing abundance as your essential nature. You're sending the universe the vibration of, "I am abundance," and the universe responds by giving you experiences that confirm that identity. Abundance is my divine right, and I claim it fully. The abundance of life flows toward me from the past, present, and future. Every breath I breathe connects me with the very essence of wealth. So it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your identity determines your reality. This is a universal law that operates without exception. If your fundamental identity is someone who struggles financially, you'll experience financial struggle no matter how hard you try externally. If your fundamental identity is abundance expressing itself consciously, you'll experience natural abundance because your reality always aligns with your identity. I am wealth here and now. I am a magnet for abundance and prosperity. My income increases continuously exceeding my expectations. I have the capacity to create unlimited wealth. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me tell you the extraordinary story of Patricia, a woman who completely transformed her life when she finally understood that she didn't have to get abundance from outside, but recognized the abundance she already was from within. Patricia had struggled financially for years, working multiple jobs, but never achieving real economic stability. Patricia had grown up in a family where scarcity was the norm. Her parents constantly worried about money, argued about finances every weekend, and she had inherited that financial anxiety as if it were part of her DNA. She saw herself as someone who isn't good with money, as someone destined to struggle financially her whole life. Her financial self-esteem was completely destroyed. Every time she received money, she immediately worried about when it would run out. Every time she had to make a purchase, she felt guilty. She had developed a toxic relationship with prosperity where she unconsciously sabotaged herself every time things began to improve. Patricia worked as a secretary in an office during the day and as a waitress in a restaurant during nights and weekends. She was constantly exhausted, constantly stressed, constantly worried about making ends meet. Her life had become a hamster wheel of financial survival. One day, while browsing the internet during her break at the office, Patricia found a recording where someone repeated with absolute conviction, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity." Her first reaction was total resistance. Her mind immediately protested, "That's not true. I'm broke. That's magical thinking. That's for privileged people who don't know real struggle." But something deep in her being resonated with those words. It was as if a dormant part of her soul had awakened upon hearing that declaration. For the first time in years, Patricia felt a spark of hope, a sense that maybe there was another way to live, another way to relate to money and prosperity. Patricia decided to experiment with this new identity, although her rational mind constantly bombarded her with doubts. Every morning, for 30 minutes before going to work, she stood in front of the mirror in her small apartment and declared with all the conviction she could muster, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me." At first, the words felt completely false. Her external reality totally contradicted what she was declaring. Her bank account was in the red, she had accumulating debts, and her refrigerator was practically empty. But Patricia persisted, intuitively understanding that she was reprogramming decades of scarcity conditioning. "I am love, health, and money. I am love in action in every moment of my life. My body is a sacred temple full of vitality and energy. The wealth of the universe flows toward me in infinite abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you." During the first weeks, Patricia experienced what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental conflict between her new abundance identity and her old scarcity beliefs. Her mind constantly reminded her of all the evidence of her difficult financial situation. But Patricia had made a conscious decision. She was going to choose her identity based on her infinite potential, not on her temporary circumstances. Gradually, something extraordinary began to happen. Patricia noticed that her relationship with money began to change in subtle but significant ways. She stopped feeling paralyzing anxiety every time she thought about her finances. She began to feel a strange but genuine confidence in her ability to create abundance. Her energy at work changed. Her way of walking changed. Her way of talking with customers changed. At work, Patricia began to act like someone who valued herself. Instead of passively accepting any task they gave her, she began proposing ideas to improve the office processes. Instead of staying invisible, she began highlighting her value and contribution. Her new abundance identity had activated a confidence she didn't know she possessed. At the restaurant where she worked nights, Patricia began interacting with customers from a completely different energy. Instead of serving from the desperation of needing tips, she began serving from the abundance of wanting to provide an exceptional experience. Customers immediately noticed the difference, and her tips doubled almost overnight. I am a magnet for abundance and prosperity. Wealth flows toward me in avalanches of abundance. I am grateful for the abundance I have and for that which is on its way. It is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In 3 months, Patricia had received an unexpected promotion at her main job. Her boss had noticed her new proactive attitude and emerging leadership capacity. They offered her a supervisory position that included a 40% salary increase and additional benefits she had never had. In 6 months, Patricia had started a side administrative consulting business that generated significant additional income. Her new abundance identity had activated her entrepreneurial spirit and her ability to see opportunities where before she only saw limitations. In 1 year, Patricia had tripled her income, paid off all her debts, and moved to a beautiful apartment in a neighborhood she previously considered out of her league. But the most notable thing was the change in her energy. Patricia radiated a confidence that attracted opportunities and prosperous people like a magnet. As Patricia explained to me years later, I didn't get abundance from outside. I recognized the abundance I had always been from within. When I changed my identity from someone poor to abundance expressing itself, my external reality automatically reorganized to reflect that new identity. I learned that I'm not someone who has abundance, I am abundance having itself. I am a powerful magnet to attract abundance, money, and prosperity. Every day I get closer to my financial freedom. Abundance flows toward me in all areas of my life. I am worthy of living a financially prosperous life. It is done. It is decreed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This story illustrates something absolutely crucial that I want you to understand deeply. You're not someone who needs to get abundance from outside. You are abundance that needs to recognize itself from within. You're not someone who must attract prosperity. You are prosperity that must express itself freely without the limitations of scarcity conditioning. I accept with gratitude everything the universe offers me. I align with positive energy, abundance, and inner peace. I trust that every experience will guide me toward my greatest good. Thank you, beloved universe. Now let me explain exactly how this identity transformation works at neurological and energetic levels. Neuroscientists have discovered that your brain has something called the reticular activating system, a neurological filter that determines what information from your environment reaches your consciousness and what information is filtered as irrelevant. This system operates based on what your subconscious mind considers important, and what it considers important is determined by your fundamental identity. If your identity is someone who struggles financially, your reticular activating system will filter reality to show you evidence of financial struggle. You'll notice all the economic problems, all the difficulties, all the limitations. If your identity is abundance expressing itself consciously, your reticular activating system will filter reality to show you evidence of abundance. You'll notice opportunities that were previously invisible, connections you didn't see before, possibilities you didn't previously consider. I am a powerful magnet to attract money and abundance. I am a powerful magnet that attracts wealth and prosperity to my life. Money flows toward me with ease and without effort. I deserve to live a life of abundance and prosperity in all aspects. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But the transformation goes far beyond the brain. When you change your fundamental identity, you change your energetic field. Every person emits a specific vibration based on their central identity. This vibration is subconsciously perceived by all the people you interact with, and they respond to that vibration in ways that confirm your identity. When your identity is scarcity, you radiate a vibration of need, desperation, and lack. People feel this vibration, and although they can't articulate it consciously, they respond by staying away, offering fewer opportunities, or treating you as someone of lesser value. When your identity is abundance, you radiate a vibration of confidence, generosity, and fullness. People feel this vibration and respond by approaching, offering opportunities, collaborations, and treating you with greater respect and consideration. Today, I decree that my life is full of abundance in all its forms. I affirm with certainty that I deserve all the good the universe has to offer me. Today I proclaim my ability to manifest my dreams with ease and fluidity. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, beloved universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me tell you the story of Carlos, a man who applied this understanding of energetic identity after years of financial struggle and unemployment. Carlos had lost his job during an economic recession and had been unemployed for 8 months. His self-esteem was completely destroyed, and he saw himself as a total failure. Carlos had literally sent hundreds of resumes without receiving positive responses. He had gone to dozens of interviews where he felt desperate and needy, which was immediately perceived by the interviewers. It had become a vicious circle. The more desperate he felt, the less attractive he became to potential employers. His identity had become someone unemployed, someone who has no value in the job market, someone who is a victim of economic circumstances. This victim identity radiated from every pore of his being, and people subconsciously perceived him as someone problematic or of lesser value. Carlos's financial situation was desperate. He had exhausted his savings, had to move back with his parents at 35, and felt like a complete failure as a man and provider. His self-esteem was so low that he had begun avoiding social situations out of shame. One day, Carlos decided to experiment with a completely different identity. Instead of seeing himself as someone unemployed, he decided to see himself as abundance-seeking perfect expression. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, he decided to feel like a creator of opportunities. Instead of operating from desperation, he decided to operate from confidence in his inherent value. I am very rich and millionaire. Today is a great day full of extraordinary opportunities. I invite wealth into my life, and it stays with me. I always deserve the abundant, prosperous, and wealth-filled life I always imagined. So it is done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Carlos began each day declaring with total conviction, I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. The perfect job is seeking me as much as I am seeking it. I am a gift to any company that has the wisdom to recognize my value. His energy changed completely, almost immediately. Instead of walking with drooping shoulders and head down, he began walking with confidence and dignity. Instead of speaking from need in interviews, he began speaking from the value he could contribute. Instead of presenting himself as someone who needed work, he presented himself as someone who had valuable contributions to offer. The transformation in people's responses was immediate and dramatic. In interviews, employers began perceiving him completely differently. His new vibration of abundance and confidence was magnetic. He was no longer another desperate candidate, but someone valuable who could be a great addition to the team. In 2 weeks of maintaining this new identity, Carlos received 3 job offers. But more important than that, he had developed unshakable confidence in his value and capabilities that could never again be destroyed by external circumstances. I am a magnet to attract money. I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. Every day, I get closer to my financial freedom. It is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carlos chose the job that best aligned with his values and long-term vision. His salary was 30% higher than his previous job, and the growth opportunities were extraordinary. But the most notable thing was that his new identity had attracted not just a job, but a career with unlimited potential. As Carlos explained to me, I didn't get a job. The abundance I am found its perfect expression. When I stopped being someone unemployed and became abundance-seeking expression, everything changed. I learned that I'm not someone who seeks opportunities, I am an opportunity seeking the right expression. Today, I am the stability of my prosperity. I have the capacity to sustain the money that enters my life. I bless it, multiply it, and anchor it in my paths. It is done to manifest. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This story illustrates something fundamental I want you to understand viscerally. Your identity creates your reality in ways that go far beyond what you can imagine. When you change your identity from scarcity to abundance, you don't just change your way of thinking, you change your way of being. And when you change your way of being, you change how the entire world responds to you. Now let me teach you exactly how to apply this identity transformation in your daily life in specific and practical ways. It's not enough to intellectually understand that you are abundance. You need to live from that identity in every moment, in every decision, in every interaction. I am a magnet of abundance and success. I release my mind from limiting beliefs that impede my growth. I declare myself undertaking what I want here and now, achieving positive and enriching results, both spiritually and materially. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The first fundamental practice is what I call the abundance awakening. Every morning, before checking your phone, before thinking about your problems, before allowing your mind to fill with the day's worries, you're going to spend the first 10 minutes consciously recognizing your abundance identity. You're going to declare with total conviction, I am abundance, awakening to a new day of infinite possibilities. I am prosperity expressing itself in human form. I am wealth recognizing its own nature. This day is full of opportunities for my abundance to express itself in new and exciting ways. But you're not going to repeat these words mechanically like a parrot. You're going to feel the truth of each word in your body. You're going to visualize your abundance as a golden light emanating from your heart and filling your entire being. You're going to experience the emotions of someone who genuinely recognizes their prosperous nature. I declare that in this month the abundance of blessings and money flow into my life. Prosperity comes to stay, and with gratitude I receive the gifts of the universe. So it is, and so it shall be. It is done to manifest. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. The second practice is decision-making from abundance. During the day, every time you have to make a decision, from what to have for breakfast to how to respond to an important email, you're going to ask yourself, what would someone who is abundance, expressing itself consciously do? And then you're going to act from that perspective. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have or making irresponsible decisions. It means making decisions from confidence in your inherent value, from the certainty that you deserve the best, from the understanding that you are an infinitely creative being capable of generating the solutions you need. When you go shopping, instead of obsessively focusing on what you can't afford, focus on the abundance you're experiencing. When you pay a bill, instead of feeling resentment or anxiety, feel gratitude for having the resources to fulfill your responsibilities and for being part of society's economic flow. I am a magnet of abundance. I am prosperous in all areas of my life. I am worthy of having everything I have and much more. It is done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The third practice is communication from abundance. Your way of talking about money, about your work, about your future plans, must reflect your new abundance identity. Instead of constantly complaining about financial problems, talk about the opportunities you're exploring and the blessings you're experiencing. When someone asks how you're doing financially, instead of lamenting about your difficulties, talk about the exciting projects you're working on and the possibilities you're creating. Your way of talking about money programs your subconscious mind and also influences how others perceive and respond to you. I release all memories of limitation and reconcile with money. Therefore, I honor it, receive it, am grateful for it, and like it. I deserve it to circulate in perfect harmony from the source of prosperity and abundance. Thank you for flowing in my life easily. So it is, and so it shall be. It is done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you the story of Maria, an artist who struggled intensely with this identity transformation because she had grown up with the deeply rooted belief that true artists are poor and that money corrupts creativity. When Maria began declaring, "I am abundance," her mind immediately protested with fierce resistance. Maria had studied art in university where her professors constantly glorified the purity of the poor artist who suffers for their art. She had internalized the belief that if she made money with her art, she would somehow be betraying her artistic integrity. This belief had created a deep internal conflict that sabotaged every opportunity for prosperity. For years, Maria had lived in a small, cluttered studio, eating mainly pasta and rice because she couldn't afford anything else. She constantly postponed artistic projects because she didn't have money for quality materials. Her art, though talented, reflected her internal state of struggle and lack. When Maria began applying abundance identity, she experienced what psychologists call extreme cognitive dissonance. The mental conflict between her new abundance identity and her old beliefs about money and art. For weeks, she felt like she was living a lie, like she was betraying everything she had believed about artistic life. I attract wealth and success to my life. I am worthy of all the good the universe has for me. My income increases constantly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But Maria persisted because she intuitively understood that she was reprogramming decades of limiting conditioning that had kept her trapped in poverty. Each day she declared with growing conviction, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. I am in tune with the energy of abundance. My art is an expression of my natural abundance." Gradually, something extraordinary began to happen. Maria began to see that abundance and creativity weren't opposites, but complementary. When she no longer had to constantly worry about money, she could dedicate all her mental and emotional energy to creating extraordinary art. Her art itself began to change. It became more expressive, more confident, more powerful. Colors became more vibrant, compositions more bold, energy more magnetic. Maria realized that when she operated from abundance instead of scarcity, her creativity expanded exponentially. Financial opportunities began flowing naturally. Galleries that had previously shown no interest began contacting her. Collectors began seeking her work specifically. Lucrative commission opportunities appeared in ways that seemed like perfect synchronicities. I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. I am in tune with the energy of abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In 1 year, Maria had gone from struggling financially to having a waiting list of clients willing to pay premium prices for her art. But the most notable thing was that Maria had completely reconciled her artistic identity with her abundance identity. She no longer saw money as an enemy of her art, but as an ally that allowed her to create more freely. As Maria explained to me, I learned that I don't have to choose between being an artist and being prosperous. I can be both because I am abundance expressing itself creatively. Money didn't corrupt my art, it liberated it. When I stopped fighting against prosperity and began embracing it as part of my nature, my art flourished in ways I had never imagined. I am a magnet of abundance. I am prosperous in all areas of my life. I am worthy of having everything I have and much more. It is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I want to teach you an extraordinarily powerful practice I call the abundance mirror. This technique is one of the most effective ways to reprogram your subconscious identity and strengthen your recognition of your abundant nature. Every morning, after your abundance awakening, you're going to stand in front of a mirror and look directly into your eyes. You're going to declare with total conviction, I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. I recognize the infinite wealth that lives in me. But this isn't just repeating words. You're going to look deeply into your own eyes and see the infinite abundance you really are. You're going to experience the emotions of someone who genuinely recognizes their prosperous nature. You're going to feel the truth of each word resonating in every cell of your body. I am abundantly rich and millionaire. Today is a great day full of extraordinary opportunities. I invite wealth into my life, and it always stays with me. I deserve the abundant, prosperous, and full life I always imagined. It is done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At first, this practice may feel strange or uncomfortable. Your mind may resist seeing abundance in the mirror when your external reality doesn't completely reflect it. But persist. This practice is one of the most powerful ways to reprogram your self-image at a subconscious level. After 2 weeks of this consistent practice, you'll notice that your confidence strengthens significantly. After a month, your energy will have changed so much that people will begin treating you differently. After 3 months, your external reality will begin dramatically reflecting your new internal identity. I deserve, accept, and receive with joy all abundance, wealth, and prosperity the universe has to give me. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, beloved universe. Let me tell you the story of Roberto, an accountant who applied this mirror practice with results that transformed not only his financial life, but his entire existence. Roberto had worked at the same company for 15 years without receiving significant promotions. He saw himself as just another employee, as someone easily replaceable, as someone destined for professional mediocrity. Roberto had grown up in a working-class family where security was valued above ambition. His parents had taught him that a stable job is the most important thing and that you shouldn't dream too high because you might get disappointed. Roberto had internalized these limiting beliefs and had settled for a career of mediocrity. At work, Roberto was competent but invisible. He did his job diligently, but never stood out. He didn't propose new ideas, didn't take initiatives, didn't promote himself. He had become part of the office furniture, someone who was there but whom no one really noticed or valued. His professional self-esteem was completely destroyed. He saw himself as someone without special talents, without unique value, without potential for something greater. This self-perception was reflected in his stagnant salary, his lack of growth opportunities, and his general feeling of being trapped in a life that didn't excite him. I recognize the vastness of the universe, an ocean of resources that flows toward what I deserve, and with gratitude I receive wealth in all its forms, knowing it is mine. Thank you, dear universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Roberto began the abundance mirror practice with great skepticism. Every morning he looked into his eyes and declared, I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. At first, he felt completely ridiculous. His mind told him, this is nonsense. You're just an average accountant. No one is going to take you seriously. But Roberto had decided he no longer wanted to live from mediocrity, so he persisted with the practice despite internal resistance. Gradually, something profound began to change in how he saw himself. Instead of seeing himself as just an employee, he began seeing himself as abundance expressing itself professionally. His behavior at work changed completely. He began proposing innovative ideas to improve the company's financial processes. He began taking initiatives he wouldn't have considered before. He began acting like someone who deserved recognition and fair compensation. His colleagues noticed the change immediately. Roberto, who had been practically invisible before, now radiated confidence and leadership. His ideas were innovative and valuable. His attitude was positive and motivating. He had become someone others sought for advice and collaboration. Today, I am the stability of my prosperity. I have the capacity to sustain the money that enters my life. I bless it, multiply it, and anchor it in my paths. It is done to manifest. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In 6 months, Roberto received the biggest promotion of his career. His boss had offered him to lead a new department that Roberto himself had proposed creating. His salary doubled, and for the first time in his career, he felt truly valued and recognized for his unique contribution. But the most notable thing was that Roberto had developed unshakable confidence in his value that extended to all areas of his life. His new abundance identity had transformed not only his career, but his relationships, his health, and his general vision of what was possible for him. As Roberto explained to me, the mirror practice taught me to see the abundance I really am. When I changed how I saw myself, I changed how others saw me too. I learned that I'm not someone who has to prove their value. I am value expressing itself consciously. Now, I want to teach you another extraordinarily powerful practice I call abundance breathing. This technique connects your breathing, your most fundamental function, with your prosperity identity, creating a deep association between your physical state and your abundance state. Sit comfortably in a quiet place and close your eyes. Breathe deeply, and, as you inhale, imagine you're breathing pure abundance. Visualize this abundance as golden light entering your body, filling every cell, every organ, every fiber of your being with infinite prosperity. As you exhale, imagine you're releasing all scarcity beliefs, all financial fears, all limitations you've carried for years. See these limitations leaving your body like gray smoke that dissolves in the air. With each inhalation, declare mentally, I am abundance. With each exhalation, declare, I release scarcity. Continue this pattern for at least 10 minutes each day, allowing each breath to strengthen your prosperity identity. This practice is extraordinarily powerful because it connects your abundance identity with your breathing, which is your most automatic and constant function. Every time you breathe consciously during the day, you'll be automatically reinforcing your new identity. Let me tell you the story of Anna, a single mother who used this technique to completely transform her financial situation in circumstances that seemed impossible. Anna worked 2 jobs to support her 3 children and constantly felt overwhelmed by financial and emotional stress. Anna had been abandoned by the father of her children when the youngest was only 6 months old. She found herself alone, without financial support, with 3 small children who depended completely on her. The pressure was overwhelming, and Anna had resigned herself to a life of constant struggle and day-to-day survival. She worked as a cashier in a supermarket during the day and cleaned offices at night after her children went to sleep. She was constantly exhausted, constantly stressed, constantly worried about how she was going to pay rent, food, clothes for her growing children. Her self-esteem was completely destroyed. She saw herself as a victim of circumstances, as someone destined to struggle her whole life, as someone who could never give her children the opportunities they deserved. This victim identity radiated from every pore of her being. Anna began practicing abundance breathing every morning before her children woke up. During those 10 sacred minutes, she connected deeply with her abundance identity, breathing prosperity, and exhaling all the limitation beliefs she had carried. I am abundance, she breathed deeply. I release scarcity, she exhaled completely. Day after day, breath after breath, Anna strengthened her new identity through this simple but extraordinarily powerful practice. In 3 months, Anna had received an unexpected promotion at the supermarket that allowed her to quit her second cleaning job. Her new abundance vibration had been noticed by her supervisor, who offered her a supervisory position with more flexible hours and better salary. In 6 months, Anna had started a small home bakery business that generated significant additional income. Her new abundance identity had activated her creativity and entrepreneurial spirit in ways she had never imagined possible. But the most notable thing was the change in her energy and in her home's atmosphere. Anna no longer radiated stress and desperation. She radiated confidence and peace. Her children noticed the change immediately and began performing better in school and showing more confidence in themselves. As Anna explained to me, abundance breathing taught me that I can choose my identity at any moment. Every breath is an opportunity to remember that I am abundance, no matter what I'm experiencing externally. My children learned that we are an abundant family that was going through a temporary experience of challenge. Now I want to address something absolutely crucial about maintaining your new abundance identity when facing temporary financial challenges or apparent setbacks. It's fundamental to understand that external circumstances never define your internal identity. Your identity is a conscious choice you make moment to moment. When you experience a temporary financial setback, your mind will immediately try to convince you that you're not really abundant, and that this proves it was all a fantasy. These are simply the last attempts of your old scarcity conditioning trying to regain control. In these moments, it's more important than ever to maintain your abundance identity. Declare with conviction, I am abundance, experiencing a temporary challenge. This situation doesn't define who I am. I am abundance navigating through this experience. This is an opportunity for my abundance to express itself in new and creative ways. Let me tell you the story of Luis, an entrepreneur who applied this principle when his business faced a severe crisis that threatened to destroy everything he had built for 10 years. Luis had created a successful consulting company, but an economic recession combined with some strategic mistakes brought him to the brink of total bankruptcy. Most people in that situation would have immediately adopted the identity of failed entrepreneur or victim of economic circumstances. They would have allowed the external crisis to define their internal identity. But Luis had deeply learned the power of maintaining his abundance identity regardless of external circumstances. Every day, while dealing with the seemingly impossible challenges of saving his company, Luis declared with unwavering conviction, I am abundance navigating through this experience. This temporary situation doesn't define my eternal identity. I am abundance finding new ways to express itself. This crisis is a disguised opportunity for my creativity and abundance to manifest in ways I had never imagined. Luis maintained this abundance identity during the 8 most difficult months of his business life. When other entrepreneurs gave up and declared bankruptcy, he persisted from his abundance identity. When others adopted victim mentality and blamed external circumstances, he maintained creator mentality and looked for opportunities in the midst of crisis. His abundance identity allowed him to see possibilities that others couldn't see. While others saw only problems, he saw opportunities to innovate, to create new services, to find new markets. His internal abundance expressed itself as extraordinary creativity and innovative solutions. At the end of those 8 challenging months, Luis had not only saved his company, but had found completely new ways to expand it that were more profitable and sustainable than his previous model. The crisis had forced his evolution and led him to discover opportunities he would never have seen from comfort. As Luis explained to me, maintaining my abundance identity during the crisis was what allowed me to see opportunities where others only saw problems. I learned that abundance isn't the absence of challenges, it's the ability to navigate through any challenge from a place of creative power. The crisis didn't make me less abundant, it made me more conscious of my abundance. Now I want to teach you an advanced technique I call abundance projection. This practice helps you consciously radiate your abundance identity in a way that attracts prosperous experiences naturally and magnetically. Imagine that your abundance identity is like a bright, golden light emanating from your heart. Visualize this light expanding beyond your physical body, creating a field of abundance and prosperity around you that extends several meters in all directions. As you walk through the world, imagine this abundance light touches all the people you encounter, blessing their lives with prosperity and activating their own natural abundance. See this light attracting opportunities, prosperous people, and abundant experiences toward you like a powerful magnet. This practice is extraordinarily powerful because it helps you actively radiate abundance instead of simply affirming it passively. When you really radiate abundance from your being, people feel it subconsciously and respond accordingly, creating synchronicities and seemingly miraculous opportunities. Let me tell you the story of Carmen, a saleswoman who applied this technique with results that completely transformed her career and financial life. Carmen had struggled with sales for years, always feeling desperate to make a sale, which created an energy of need that repelled potential customers like a negative magnetic field. Carmen had grown up in a family where money was always a source of anxiety and conflict. Her parents constantly argued about finances, and she had inherited that toxic relationship with prosperity. In sales, this anxiety was magnified because her financial survival depended directly on her ability to convince others to buy. Her sales approach was completely based on need. She approached each potential customer from the desperation of needing to make a sale to pay her bills. This lack energy was immediately perceived by customers, who felt pressured and manipulated, although Carmen didn't have that intention consciously. Carmen began practicing abundance projection before each client meeting. She visualized herself radiating golden abundance from her heart, blessing her clients with prosperity and approaching each interaction from a place of genuine abundance instead of desperate need. Her energy changed completely almost immediately. Instead of approaching clients from the need to get something from them, she approached from the abundance of wanting to give value to them. Instead of trying to sell products, she focused on understanding her clients' real needs and offering genuine solutions. Clients began responding completely differently. They could feel that Carmen came from a place of abundance and genuine service, not from need and manipulation. They felt comfortable with her, trusted her, and naturally wanted to do business with someone who radiated that positive energy. In 3 months, Carmen had tripled her sales without changing her sales technique, but simply by changing her identity and energy. But more important than that, she had developed genuine relationships with her clients that lasted years and generated constant referrals. As Carmen explained to me, when I stopped needing to make sales and began radiating abundance, sales began happening naturally. Clients could feel that I came from a place of abundance, not need. I learned that sales isn't about convincing, it's about connecting from abundance. Now, I want to teach you an extraordinarily powerful practice I call abundant gratitude. This technique exponentially amplifies your abundance identity by training your mind to recognize and celebrate all the wealth that already exists in your life, creating a magnetic field that attracts even more abundance. Every night before sleeping, you're going to spend 15 minutes recognizing and celebrating all the abundance you experienced during the day. But you're not going to limit yourself only to obvious financial blessings. You're going to recognize all the wealth you experienced, the wealth of having eyes to see, ears to hear, a heart that beats, air to breathe. You're going to give thanks for the wealth of having a roof over your head, clean water to drink, food to nourish your body. You're going to recognize the wealth of relationships in your life, the wealth of opportunities that presented themselves, the wealth of lessons you learned. From this state of genuine gratitude for all the abundance you already possess, you're going to declare, I am abundance recognizing its own infinite wealth. I am prosperity celebrating its natural expression. From this abundance I already am. I attract even more abundance in surprising and delicious ways. This practice is extraordinarily powerful because it trains you to operate from the abundance you already have instead of the lack of what you think you're missing. When you operate from existing abundance, you attract more abundance. When you operate from perceived lack, you attract more lack. Let me tell you the story of Isabella, a woman who applied this abundant gratitude practice in circumstances that seemed absolutely desperate. Isabella was a widow with 3 small children and no financial resources after her husband died in a car accident, leaving her with significant debts and no life insurance. Isabella found herself in a situation that seemed impossible to overcome. She had to raise 3 children alone, pay her husband's debts, and find a way to generate income without previous work experience since she had been a housewife for 10 years. Social and family pressure was immense for her to accept government help and resign herself to a life of limitation. Everyone advised her to sell the house, move in with her parents, accept that her situation was desperate. Most people in her situation would have adopted the identity of victim, of struggling single mother, of woman abandoned by cruel fate. But Isabella had deeply studied Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings for years. Instead of allowing her circumstances to define her identity, she made the conscious decision to live from abundance, regardless of what she was experiencing externally. Isabella understood something profound, that her children were watching how she responded to this crisis. She could teach them they were victims of circumstances, or she could teach them they were creators of their reality. She chose to teach them the power of abundance identity, even in the most challenging circumstances. Every night, after putting her children to bed with the few resources she had, Isabella practiced abundant gratitude. She gave thanks for having 3 beautiful and healthy children. She gave thanks for having a roof, although modest. She gave thanks for having food, although simple. She gave thanks for having the opportunity to be strong for her children. From this state of genuine gratitude, Isabella declared, "I am abundance navigating through this temporary experience. My children and I are blessed, protected, and prosperous. The universe provides for us abundantly in all forms. This situation is an opportunity for our abundance to express itself in new and creative ways." Isabella maintained this practice for a complete year without seeing dramatic changes in her external situation. She had gotten some part-time jobs to cover basic expenses, but the situation remained very tight. Many people would have abandoned the practice at this point, concluding that it doesn't work. But Isabella understood that real transformation takes time and that she was reprogramming not only her own mind, but also teaching her children a new way to relate to abundance. She maintained her faith even when there was no external evidence to justify it. Internally, something profound was transforming. Her faith strengthened every day. Her vision expanded. Her creativity activated. Her ability to see opportunities sharpened. Her abundance vibration solidified, and her children were absorbing this new way of being. In the second year, Isabella started a small home business that grew rapidly because she had identified a specific need in her community and had created an innovative solution. Her new abundance vibration had activated her entrepreneurial spirit in ways she had never imagined possible. In the third year, Isabella had expanded her business and hired employees. In the fifth year, she had built a prosperous company that not only freed her financially, but also employed dozens of people in her community, creating a positive impact that extended far beyond her family. But the most notable thing was how her children had grown during this process. Instead of developing a victim mentality from losing their father, they had developed extraordinary confidence in their ability to create abundance. They had learned they can choose their reality regardless of external circumstances. Her children became leaders in their schools, outstanding students, young people with a clear vision of their future possibilities. They had grown up watching their mother transform an apparently impossible situation into prosperity through the power of maintaining an abundance identity. As Isabella told me years later, abundant gratitude taught me that I always have more than I think I have. When I focused on all the wealth I already possessed, I attracted even more wealth. My children learned that we are an abundant family that can create prosperity from any starting point. That's the true inheritance I left them. Now, as we move toward the final sections of this transformative journey, I want to teach you the most advanced and powerful practice, total abundance embodiment. This technique integrates everything you've learned into a complete experience of living as abundance expressing itself consciously. Once a week, you're going to dedicate a complete day to living entirely from your abundance identity. From the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, you're going to act, think, feel, speak, and be as if you were infinite abundance expressing itself in human form. Wake up with deep gratitude for being abundance awakening to a new day of infinite possibilities. Dress like someone prosperous would dress, not necessarily with expensive clothes, but with dignity and personal care that reflects your inherent value. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are naturally abundant. Speak with the authority of someone who recognizes their value. Make decisions from prosperity, not from fear. Interact with others from the abundance of wanting to give value, not from the need to get something. During this day, don't allow any scarcity thoughts to enter your mind. Every time a limiting thought arises, immediately replace it with, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity. This is my eternal nature and my fundamental reality." This practice is extraordinarily powerful because it gives your subconscious mind a complete experience of how it feels to live in total abundance. It creates a new internal reference point that dramatically accelerates the external manifestation of your new identity. Many people who have applied this technique report significant changes in their external reality within the following weeks. It's as if the universe had received a clear and powerful signal about your new identity and responded by reorganizing circumstances to reflect that identity. Let me tell you the story of Alejandro, a university professor who applied total abundance embodiment and experienced a transformation that changed not only his financial life, but his complete career. Alejandro had worked as a professor for 15 years, always struggling financially because he had adopted the belief that educators can't be rich and that knowledge and money don't go together. Alejandro had grown up in a family of academics where intellectual prestige was valued more than financial prosperity. His parents were professors who saw money as something vulgar and had instilled in Alejandro the idea that true intellectuals should live modestly. For years, Alejandro had lived on a salary that barely covered his basic needs. He had rejected lucrative consulting opportunities because he felt he would prostitute his knowledge. He had avoided writing commercial books because he believed he should focus only on academic publications that no one read but gave him prestige in his circle. His identity was completely tied to being a pure academic who was above material concerns. But this identity had kept him trapped in a life of financial limitation that prevented him from making the contributions he really wanted to make to the world. When Alejandro began practicing total abundance embodiment, initially he experienced massive internal resistance. His mind constantly told him he was betraying his academic values, that he was selling his soul by focusing on prosperity. But Alejandro persisted because he realized his poverty wasn't helping anyone. He couldn't contribute significantly to educational causes because he didn't have resources. He couldn't create the programs he dreamed of because he didn't have capital. His academic purity was actually a form of limitation that reduced his potential impact. During his total embodiment day, Alejandro would wake up declaring, "I am abundance expressing itself as a prosperous educator. My knowledge is valuable and deserves to be generously compensated. I can be an integral and prosperous academic at the same time." He walked through campus with new confidence. He spoke with his colleagues from an abundance perspective. He made decisions about his career from prosperity, not from fear of compromising his academic integrity. In his classes, he radiated a completely different energy. His students noticed he seemed more confident, more inspired, more powerful in his teaching. His new abundance identity had liberated his potential as an educator in ways he had never imagined. In 6 months, Alejandro had begun offering business consulting courses based on his academic expertise. He had discovered he could maintain his intellectual integrity while generating significant income, helping companies apply academic principles to real problems. In 1 year, he had written his first commercial book that became a bestseller, bringing his academic ideas to a massive audience and generating substantial royalties. He had created executive education programs that were both intellectually rigorous and financially lucrative. In 2 years, Alejandro had established an educational foundation funded by his new income that provided scholarships to low-income students. His personal abundance had become a blessing for hundreds of young people who now had access to higher education. As Alejandro explained to me, total abundance embodiment taught me that I can be an integral and prosperous academic at the same time. My abundance didn't compromise my integrity, it amplified it. Now I can make educational contributions I never could have made from poverty. I learned that abundance is a responsibility, not a betrayal. Now, I want to address something absolutely crucial about the true purpose of recognizing your abundance identity. It's not just about getting more money or more material things, although those blessings will certainly flow naturally. It's about something much deeper and more transformative. It's about recognizing and expressing your divine nature of infinite abundance. It's about remembering who you really are beyond the temporary limitations of social conditioning. It's about reclaiming your spiritual inheritance as an infinitely creative being connected with the source of all abundance. When you declare, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity," you're recognizing your direct connection with the source of all wealth, all creativity, all possibility. Your abundance doesn't depend on external economic conditions. It doesn't depend on others' approval. It doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. Your abundance is an expression of your divine nature, and that nature is eternal and immutable. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the man who knows the truth of his being can never be poor. The truth of your being is that you are abundance expressing itself in human form. When you live from this truth, poverty becomes an impossibility because you're operating from your essential nature. When you recognize that you are abundance, you can't experience real scarcity because you would be denying your own nature, which is impossible long-term. And here's the extraordinary beauty of this transformation. The more abundant you become, the more naturally you want others to also experience that abundance. The more prosperous you are, the more you can be a positive force in the world. The more wealth you have, the more you can support causes that matter to you and contribute to collective well-being. True abundance is never selfish or accumulative. It's generous, expansive, inclusive. When you really understand your abundant nature, you naturally want others to also awaken to their natural abundance. Your personal prosperity becomes a collective inspiration and blessing. Your personal transformation becomes a global contribution. Your individual abundance becomes an elevation of collective consciousness. Your personal prosperity becomes a living demonstration of what's possible when someone completely aligns with their divine nature. Every time you live from your abundance identity, you're contributing to creating a morphogenetic field of prosperity that makes it easier for others to awaken to their own abundance. Every time you choose prosperity over scarcity, you're voting for a world where abundance is the natural experience of all humanity. Let me tell you the final story of Esperanza, a social worker who initially resisted the idea of personal abundance because she believed her work was to serve the poor, and that being prosperous would disconnect her from the people she served. Her transformation perfectly illustrates how personal abundance can exponentially amplify your capacity to serve. Esperanza had worked for years in nonprofit organizations, always struggling financially, but feeling proud of her sacrifice for the less fortunate. She had adopted the identity of someone who serves the poor by being poor, believing this made her more authentic and connected with the people she helped. Her salary was minimal. She lived in a small apartment in a difficult neighborhood and constantly worried about her own finances while trying to help others with theirs. She had internalized the belief that being prosperous would be a betrayal of her service mission. When Esperanza began exploring abundance identity, she experienced intense guilt. Her mind told her, "How can you want abundance when the people you serve don't have it? Isn't it selfish to desire prosperity when there's so much need in the world?" But gradually, Esperanza began to understand something revolutionary, that her poverty wasn't helping anyone. She couldn't give what she didn't have. She couldn't teach prosperity from scarcity. Her financial limitation was limiting her capacity to serve in more powerful ways. Esperanza began declaring, "I am abundance expressing itself as service to the world. My prosperity allows me to serve in more powerful ways. I can be prosperous and compassionate at the same time. My abundance is a gift I can share with others." Her new abundance identity completely transformed her approach to social work. Instead of simply giving food to the hungry, she began teaching income generation skills. Instead of only offering temporary shelter, she began creating economic development programs. In 2 years, Esperanza had established her own organization that not only helped people meet their immediate needs, but empowered them to create their own abundance. She had developed microcredit programs, business training, and skill development that transformed lives permanently. Her new personal prosperity allowed her to finance programs that traditional organizations couldn't afford. She could hire the best professionals, create first-class facilities, and offer services that really transformed lives instead of simply keeping people in dependence. In 5 years, Esperanza's programs had permanently lifted hundreds of families out of poverty. Her personal abundance had become collective abundance for her entire community. She had demonstrated that prosperity and service aren't opposites, but complementary. As Esperanza explained to me, I learned that my poverty wasn't helping anyone. When I became prosperous, I could serve in ways I had never imagined. My abundance became the vehicle to create abundance for others. I understood that true compassion isn't suffering with others, but empowering them to create their own prosperity. Before we finish this transformative journey, I want to remind you of something fundamental. You're not alone in this transformation. By becoming part of this subscriber community, you've joined thousands of people who, like you, are awakening to their abundant nature. Every time someone new subscribes to this channel, it strengthens the collective energetic field of abundance we're creating together. Each activated notification creates a network of vibrational support. Each like, each comment, each share amplifies the frequency of prosperity we're radiating to the world. If this content has resonated with you, if you feel something profound has awakened within you, then you have the responsibility to share this transformation. Share this video with someone you know is ready to awaken to their natural abundance. Leave a comment telling your experience. Activate notifications to be part of this consciousness revolution. Because when you vibrate in the frequency of abundance alongside thousands of people doing the same, when you become part of a community that collectively recognizes its prosperous nature, financial miracles become your new normal. Abundance becomes contagious, and together we're creating a new reality of collective prosperity. So begin now. Begin in this moment. Breathe deeply and declare with total conviction, I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. I recognize the infinite wealth that lives in me. Feel the truth of these words in every cell of your body. Recognize that you're not affirming something you hope will be true. You're recognizing something that has always been true. You're awakening to your original identity. You're reclaiming your divine inheritance. Your new life of conscious abundance begins now with the next breath you take from your prosperity identity. May it be a breath of power, a breath of abundance, a breath that completely activates your prosperous nature. Trust your abundance identity. Trust your prosperous nature. Trust your capacity to express the infinite wealth you are. Because as Florence Scovel Shinn taught us, the man who knows the truth of his being becomes a master of circumstances. And you know the truth of your being. You are abundance. You are prosperity. You are infinite wealth expressing itself consciously. Everything begins with the identity you choose to embrace in this sacred moment. I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me. I am in tune with the energy of abundance. I recognize the vastness of the universe, an ocean of resources that flows toward what I deserve. With gratitude, I receive wealth in all its forms, knowing it is mine by divine right. I am the stability of my prosperity. I have the capacity to sustain, bless, and multiply all the abundance that enters my life. So it is, and so it shall be, for all eternity. Abundance is me. Prosperity is me. I am a being of infinite wealth expressing itself consciously in this perfect moment. Thank you, universe, for the infinite abundance I am. Thank you for the eternal prosperity I express. Thank you for the divine wealth I manifest. Thank you for reminding me who I really am. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I am infinite wealth expressing itself consciously. And so it is. Amen. The abundance of blessings and money flow into my life. Prosperity comes to stay, and with gratitude, I receive the gifts of the universe. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, every day you live from this abundance identity, every moment you recognize your prosperous nature, every breath you take from the certainty of your infinite wealth, you're contributing to creating a world where abundance is the natural experience of all humanity. You are abundance. You always have been, you always will be. Now you simply remember it. May every step you take be a step from abundance. May every word you speak be a word of prosperity. May every decision you make be a decision from the infinite wealth you are, because you are abundance and infinite prosperity. This is your nature, this is your reality, this is your eternal truth, and so it is, and so it shall be. Forever. Amen. Now, I want to share with you something that will deepen your understanding of this transformation even further. The practice of living as abundance isn't just about changing your thoughts or feelings. It's about fundamentally altering the frequency at which your entire being operates. Think of yourself as a radio station. For years, you've been broadcasting on the frequency of scarcity, 98.5 FM limitation. But your true frequency, your natural frequency, is 107.3 FM infinite abundance. When you tune into your authentic frequency, everything in your reality begins to harmonize with that vibration. This is why the transformation feels so natural once you fully embrace it. You're not becoming something foreign to your nature. You're returning to your original frequency. You're not adding abundance to yourself. You're removing the interference that was blocking your natural abundance signal. Every morning when you declare, I am abundance and infinite prosperity, you're fine-tuning your frequency. Every time you act from abundance instead of scarcity, you're strengthening your signal. Every moment you choose prosperity consciousness over poverty consciousness, you're broadcasting more clearly on your authentic frequency. And here's what's truly miraculous. When you consistently broadcast on the frequency of abundance, you begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that are also operating on that same frequency. Like attracts isn't just a spiritual principle, it's a fundamental law of the universe. Let me share with you the story of Valentina, a woman who understood this frequency principle so deeply that she transformed not only her own life, but became a catalyst for abundance in everyone around her. Valentina was a single mother working as a cleaning lady in office buildings, barely making enough to support herself and her young daughter. But Valentina had a secret that her co-workers couldn't understand. Despite her humble circumstances, she radiated joy, confidence, and an unshakable faith in her abundant future. While other cleaning staff complained about their situation and gossiped about their problems, Valentina spent her work hours in a state of grateful abundance. As she cleaned each office, she would silently bless the space with prosperity. She would imagine the business owners making wise decisions that would benefit everyone. She would envision abundance flowing through every transaction that took place in those offices. She was literally broadcasting abundance frequency wherever she went. Her co-workers thought she was naive or delusional. How could someone in her position be so optimistic? How could she talk about abundance when she was clearly struggling? But Valentina understood something they didn't. That her external circumstances were temporary, but her abundance frequency was eternal. Within 6 months, something extraordinary began happening. The businesses where Valentina worked started experiencing unprecedented growth. Deals that had been stalled for months suddenly closed. New opportunities appeared out of nowhere. The business owners began attributing their success to a lucky streak, not realizing that Valentina's abundance frequency was literally blessing their enterprises. One business owner, curious about the positive changes in his company's fortune, began paying attention to the cleaning staff. He noticed that Valentina was different. She worked with a joy and care that was unusual. When he spoke with her, he was struck by her intelligence, her vision, and her natural business instincts. He offered her a position as his assistant, recognizing that someone who could maintain such positive energy in challenging circumstances would be invaluable to his team. Valentina's abundance frequency had attracted an opportunity that seemed impossible from her previous position. But this was just the beginning. In her new role, Valentina's abundance frequency continued to work its magic. The company's profits doubled within a year. New partnerships formed effortlessly. The entire office atmosphere became more positive and productive. Within 3 years, Valentina had become a partner in the business. Her abundance frequency hadn't just changed her own life, it had transformed an entire company and everyone associated with it. She had become living proof that one person operating on the frequency of abundance can elevate everyone around them. As Valentina told me, I learned that abundance isn't something you get. It's something you are and something you give. When I started broadcasting abundance frequency wherever I went, the whole world began responding to that signal. I didn't just change my circumstances. I became a force for abundance in every life I touched. This story illustrates a profound truth about abundance consciousness. It's contagious. When you truly embody abundance, you become a catalyst for prosperity in everyone around you. Your frequency doesn't just attract abundance to you, it awakens abundance in others. Now, I want to teach you a practice that will help you maintain your abundance frequency even in challenging moments. I call it the abundance anchor. This technique creates a physical and emotional anchor that instantly reconnects you with your prosperous identity whenever you feel yourself slipping into scarcity consciousness. Choose a physical gesture that feels powerful to you, perhaps placing your hand over your heart or touching your thumb and index finger together, or simply taking a deep breath while straightening your spine. This will become your abundance anchor. Every time you're in a state of deep abundance consciousness, during your morning declarations, after a successful manifestation, when you're feeling particularly prosperous, activate your anchor. Feel the abundance in your body, experience the emotions of prosperity, and then make your chosen gesture. Repeat this process consistently for several weeks. You're training your nervous system to associate this physical gesture with the state of abundance consciousness. You're creating a shortcut back to your prosperous frequency. Then, whenever you find yourself slipping into scarcity thinking, when bills arrive, when unexpected expenses appear, when fear tries to take hold, immediately activate your abundance anchor. The physical gesture will trigger the neurological and emotional state of abundance, instantly returning you to your prosperous frequency. This technique is extraordinarily powerful because it gives you a tool to maintain your abundance identity regardless of external circumstances. You're no longer at the mercy of your environment. You have conscious control over your internal state. Let me share the story of Ricardo, a businessman who used this abundance anchor technique to navigate through the most challenging period of his career. Ricardo owned a successful restaurant chain, but when a global pandemic forced him to close all his locations, he faced the possibility of losing everything he had built over 20 years. The natural response would have been panic, despair, and scarcity thinking. Most business owners in his situation were consumed with fear about their future. But Ricardo had been practicing abundance consciousness for years, and he had developed a powerful abundance anchor. His anchor was a simple gesture, placing his right hand over his heart while taking 3 deep breaths. He had conditioned this gesture during hundreds of moments of abundance consciousness, and it had become a direct pathway back to his prosperous frequency. Every time fear arose about his business, every time scarcity thoughts tried to take hold, Ricardo would activate his anchor. Instantly, he would return to the state of abundance consciousness, remembering that he was not a victim of circumstances, but a creator of solutions. From this abundance frequency, Ricardo began seeing opportunities that others missed. While his competitors were focused on survival, he was focused on innovation. He developed new business models, created delivery systems, and found ways to serve his community that were actually more profitable than his original restaurant model. When the crisis ended, Ricardo's business was stronger than ever. He had not only survived the challenge, but had used it as a catalyst for expansion and innovation. His abundance anchor had kept him operating from prosperity consciousness even in the most difficult circumstances. As Ricardo explained, "My abundance anchor saved my business and my sanity. Every time the world tried to convince me I was failing, I could instantly return to the truth that I am abundance finding new ways to express itself. The anchor kept me connected to my creative power when everything around me was chaos." Now, as we approach the culmination of this transformative journey, I want to share with you the ultimate secret of abundance consciousness. It's not just about having more money or material possessions. The ultimate secret is that when you truly embody abundance, you become a force for good in the world. True abundance consciousness naturally leads to contribution consciousness. When you recognize that you are connected to infinite resources, you naturally want to share those resources. When you understand that abundance is unlimited, you lose all fear of giving generously. This is why the most abundant people in history have also been the greatest contributors to humanity. They understood that abundance flows through giving, not through hoarding. They recognized that the more you give from abundance consciousness, the more abundance flows through you. When you declare, "I am abundance and infinite prosperity," you're not just claiming wealth for yourself. You're accepting responsibility to be a channel through which abundance can bless the world. You're recognizing that your prosperity is meant to serve not just your own needs, but the needs of your community, your family, and humanity as a whole. This understanding transforms your entire relationship with wealth. Money is no longer something you accumulate for security. It becomes a tool for creating positive impact. Prosperity is no longer about what you can get. It becomes about what you can give. Let me share the story of Elena, a woman who embodied this principle so completely that she became known as the abundance angel in her community. Elena had grown up in poverty, but through applying these abundance principles, she had built a successful business and achieved financial freedom. But Elena's true transformation wasn't in her bank account. It was in her understanding of abundance as a force for service. She realized that her prosperity was not an end in itself, but a means to serve others more powerfully. Elena began using her abundance to create opportunities for others. She started a microloan program for women entrepreneurs in her community. She established scholarships for students who couldn't afford education. She created job training programs for people transitioning out of poverty. But Elena's greatest gift wasn't her money. It was her abundance consciousness. Everyone who worked with her caught her frequency of prosperity. The women who received her microloans didn't just start businesses. They became abundance magnets themselves, creating prosperity that rippled through their families and communities. The students who received her scholarships didn't just get education. They absorbed her belief that they were worthy of unlimited success. They graduated with not just degrees, but with abundance consciousness that transformed their entire life trajectory. Elena had discovered the ultimate secret. Abundance consciousness is the greatest gift you can give to another person. When you help someone recognize their own abundant nature, you give them something more valuable than money. You give them the power to create unlimited prosperity for themselves and others. As Elena told me, I thought abundance was about having enough for myself. But I learned that true abundance is about being a source of abundance for others. The more I helped others recognize their prosperous nature, the more abundant I became. I discovered that abundance isn't something you keep. It's something you share. This brings us to the ultimate practice of abundance consciousness, becoming an abundance mentor for others. Once you've established your own prosperity identity, your next evolution is to help others discover theirs. This doesn't mean you have to become a teacher or coach professionally. It means that in your daily interactions, you become someone who sees and calls forth the abundance in others. When you meet someone who's struggling, instead of sympathizing with their limitation, you help them recognize their unlimited potential. When someone complains about their financial situation, instead of agreeing with their scarcity story, you gently redirect them toward their abundance possibilities. When someone says, "I can't afford that," you might respond with, What would it take for you to create that abundance? You become someone who consistently holds the vision of others' prosperity even when they can't see it themselves. You become a mirror that reflects back their abundant nature instead of their temporary limitations. This practice not only serves others, it continuously reinforces your own abundance consciousness. Every time you help someone else recognize their prosperous nature, you strengthen your own connection to abundance. Every time you give from abundance consciousness, you prove to yourself that you truly are abundance expressing itself. As we conclude this extraordinary journey together, I want you to understand that this is not an ending. It's a beginning. You're not graduating from abundance consciousness. You're enrolling in a lifetime curriculum of ever-expanding prosperity. Your abundance identity will continue to evolve and deepen. Your capacity to express prosperity will continue to expand. Your ability to serve others through your abundance will continue to grow. This is a journey without limits because abundance itself is unlimited. Remember that every day offers new opportunities to live from your abundance identity. Every interaction is a chance to radiate prosperity consciousness. Every decision is an opportunity to choose abundance over scarcity. Some days will be easier than others. There will be moments when old patterns try to resurface, when scarcity thoughts attempt to regain control. In these moments, remember that you have the tools to return to your abundance frequency. You have your morning declarations, your abundance anchor, your community of fellow abundance practitioners. Most importantly, remember that you are not alone in this journey. You are part of a growing community of people who are awakening to their abundant nature. Together, we are creating a new paradigm where prosperity consciousness becomes the norm rather than the exception. Every time you choose abundance over scarcity, you're voting for a world where everyone can experience their natural prosperity. Every time you live from your abundance identity, you're contributing to the collective awakening of humanity to its unlimited potential. So go forth and be abundance. Express your prosperity boldly and generously. Share your gifts freely and joyfully. Become the living demonstration of what's possible when a human being fully embraces their divine nature of infinite abundance. The world needs your abundance. Your family needs your prosperity consciousness. Your community needs your example of what's possible. You are not just transforming your own life. You are contributing to the transformation of human consciousness itself. I am abundance and infinite prosperity. I am the source of my own abundance. Prosperity flows freely toward me and through me to bless the world. I am grateful for the infinite wealth I am, the eternal prosperity I express, and the divine abundance I share. So it is, and so it shall be, now and forever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The abundance of blessings and money flow into my life. Prosperity comes to stay, and with gratitude, I receive the gifts of the universe. So it is, and so it shall be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are abundance. You have always been abundance. You will always be abundance. Now you simply remember, embody, and express this eternal truth. Welcome to your abundant life. Welcome to your prosperous reality. Welcome to the infinite wealth that you are. And so it is.